are live. Tell your friends you're listening to the Verhoeven Effect podcast. I'm Conlon,
And I'm Nathan.
and we have a very special episode. We have the 1971 movie The Omega Man. Nathan, do you have a history with the Omega Man?
I remember hearing about this. I forget. It was later on. I was over 18. So I think I'd seen something about it on one of the cable shows,
Yeah.
cable TV. Like I'd seen part of it, and I was like, "Well, this looks like totally 70s and vaguely interesting." Um, and I always liked the actor Charlton Heston because two movies I really liked were Ten Commandments and Ben Hur, and I enjoyed some of his other performances too. So I was like, oh, this is interesting because I had seen Soylent Green before this,
Okay.
which is the one he did right after this, and I'd also seen Planet of the Apes long before even Soylent Green. So um, I always it's like yeah I like a lot of his movies, and
And much like Soylent Green, this movie weirdly looks expensive and cheap all at the same time.
yeah. And he also did another one I really like, The Naked Jungle. I've talked about that one before.
Oh, yeah, when you say he's fighting ants or something.
Army ants,
Yeah.
yeah. It actually manages to be like kind of cool. I think it's like in the 50s too, like early 50s movie. It is cool.
Um, yeah, so like so when did you read did you read I Am Legend? Did you read the
Yes,
book?
I've read I Am Legend.
Okay. Cuz like the way I came to I Am Legend was it was a oh, what the hell is it? It was like a somebody was working on like a graphic adaptation of the book,
Hmm.
but it was like the whole book and then just a lot of pictures. But they didn't finish it, so I basically read like the first 30 pages of I Am Legend, and I thought it was really cool, and I just never got back to it. So, because I really liked how intricate everything was, and like how detailed, like he's like custom making all this stuff and what you have to do to like board a house that you're hiding from vampires in and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
like,
it came from like yeah, I remember there was stuff in there about like, oh, they react to garlic and crosses, and it's like, oh, has this got a religious overtone? It's like, no, it was called like, what did he call it? Like hysterical adaptation or something. It's like, no, they're just embracing the vampire legend fully. That's part of the disease.
yeah,
Is now that like, oh, they want to be like the vampires because that's something that makes sense because just being a mobile form of bacteria is kind of freaking them out, so they'd rather be like vampires.
yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. And that book was like laid down in like 1950.
Yes,
Like
and
that's what's
and when you
amazing.
and when I read it, it felt super modern. I was like,
Yeah,
"This is crazy." Well, not modern, but it all felt like I guess it had a modern sensibility to it. So
yeah, it very much reminds me of The Stand, by which was
okay,
a book written in the late 70s, early 80s by Stephen King. Everyone knows The Stand. So it seemed to have like that quality. There was like a certain workman-like apocalypse going on,
yeah,
but in this case, it had just one central smart character, and and the vampires in the I Am Legend novel are actually like scary and powerful, and you had to like you really had to build a fortress to survive them.
yeah,
They were the ones portrayed in the movie with Will Smith in 2007 were actually reminded me a lot more of the book I Am Legend vampires than what came out in the two other movies that attempted to retell this.
yeah.
So
The
I
I Am
totally
Legend. Yeah, that's more of like I mean, they're more like 28 day later, like rage zombie. Well, they're not. Well, I guess in 20 days they technically aren't zombies because they don't die. They just become the infected.
yeah.
So they're rage infected. So
Yeah, you can still kill them with like guns, and you still have to stop their organs from working just like regular people.
yeah.
It's just they're completely insane. Somehow don't dehydrate, which I was, but I haven't seen 28 years later. I guess that explains a lot of the
Um,
evolution of them.
Well, I guess. Well, I heard the other day, like the thing about like you need to drink 6 cups of water every day.
Uh-huh.
It's like that doesn't include like the water you get from food you're eating.
No, yeah, you don't.
So,
Human beings aren't camels where we need to just imbibe 6 gallons of water to live.
um, but it doesn't help, or it doesn't hurt. So.
No, I over drink water all the time. I drink constant. I'm in the
Well,
bath all the
well,
time.
because like I was watching this movie, and I was like, Charlton Heston is like shirtless most of the part of this movie. I was like, for like a 50-year-old man, he's in good shape. It's like, how old is this? Like 47. It's like, man, 47 is a real different age nowadays.
Yeah,
He kind of looks like shit. So
I'm 3 years older than the guy in that movie. Now, I don't look as good as he does with his shirt off, but I definitely don't feel like I look
you
that
don't,
old.
no.
There was something actually the other day that explained why that was.
Well,
too.
we don't smoke or drink, and we drink more water. That's,
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
and that's true. I don't smoke anymore, and I do drink a lot of water. I will go clear every day drinking water, so that's good. That means my kidney function is very good,
um,
despite all the other problems I have. I can drink my pee clear in one day, which means I'm drinking more than enough water.
but Charlton Heston was still in shape. Like I would like to be in his shape.
Yeah,
Not his leathery skin, but his shape. um, and then so this. Yeah, I don't remember the last time I watched I Am Legend. It was like all right. Like it's probably like way better. I mean, it's way better acted and produced.
yeah.
But that is like kind of like also kind of like I feel like it's missing a lot of stuff from the novel and even this movie. Like it doesn't have any of the fun basically. So
None of the adaptations of the novel and Walter Richard Matheson worked on 2 of the 3 screenplays. None of the adaptations of his novel actually do anything for his novel. It's they just kind of take ideas and they sort of go their own direction.
I mean, I don't know. I guess that's the thing. Like I incorrectly like discount like adaptations for is that when they devolve from the source material, and it's like, well, the source material is there, so yeah, it makes something slightly different. But sometimes it's just nice to see like something brought to life. It's like
Yeah.
as is, so like it's
Well, I think you could do an I Am Legend again as like HBO series.
yes,
You could stay a lot more faithful to the source material, just kind of set it in modern times.
yeah,
But when you have a 90-minute to hour and 20-minute movie or whatever, 112 or yeah, you have so much time to compress it into,
yeah,
and you basically have one name actor in the movie.
yeah.
In the case of this movie,
But that is like, well, I thought it was interesting here is like, I guess I didn't realize like the kind of like consumerism, like when you have like a city yourself stuff, because I always associate that with Dawn of the Dead. So it's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
here too. So,
well, interesting. George Romero said the book is what he based Night of the Living Dead on.
huh? Okay.
It was like,
Oh
what? If
yeah,
you
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he actually has said that. He's like, no, it was Richard.
Yeah,
Matheson.
you're boarding up a house, and there's enemies outside, so it totally makes sense. So, so yeah, director. Yeah, I didn't. I got really late. I had to fix my computer, so I got like really late to the notes. So we'll see what Nathan knows about this stuff. Other than the director's Boris Sagal, who did a lot of TV. He was Ukrainian. And he had a very weird death with a helicopter. So that's all I know about him.
It's the kind of death where it's like they say, "Hey, don't walk into spinning blades." This is the guy that like that saying came from because he got out of a helicopter and was talking to someone and just walked into the tail rotor.
Yeah,
it's horrible. It's like just to think about that. And it's like, wow, yeah, I could see that happening.
Wasn't that like an independent nightmares of yours? And now it's finally like, oh, here's the reality of it.
Yeah, that's always been a thing. Like that thing where, in Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they got the flying wing that's rotating around and this guy's fighting him. It's like, yeah, being sucked up by blades like that is like, yeah, that's The only thing that would make that more nightmarish for me if they were in the water. 'Cause I really have a thing about like machinery and water and
Yeah.
being in bodies of water where there's machines that can suck you through pipes and stuff. I'm actually afraid of that.
Yeah.
That's why like submarines fascinate me, but you'd never get me on one. A machine that will just suck you under the water and you never come back. It's like, yeah. But yeah. No, that's pure nightmare fuel. Because you could imagine that happening. It's like, oh, I'm off the helicopter, I'm fine. Hey, by the way, and then you just walk
Oh
right
yeah,
into
yeah.
tail
Full
rope.
ADHD, get lost in thought. It's like, oh, where am I going?
And then somebody's talking to you and gets to see that happen. It's like, well, his life is ruined also.
Yeah, what it said in Wikipedia is partially decapitated and didn't die until like 5 hours later. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's, I don't know how you partially decapitated and live, but I guess
Well, it's like we learned about with wrestling accidents. There's this term called internal decapitation.
Yes.
And that doesn't sound any better.
No.
Yeah. That's also like time to sit around and stare at the wall and think about that for a little while. What a nightmare that would be.
Cinematographer is Russell Meddy,
Hmm.
who he has some interesting credits. Was Touch of Evil, was that Hitchcock? Or yeah, was Touch of Evil Hitchcock, or what was that? Oh, it's Orson Welles was Touch of Evil, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then Spartacus, which the trivia on that, I don't know if that's just lore, but the trivia on that is that Kubrick hated this guy and fired him, and Kubrick shot the rest of the movie, and this guy won an Oscar for it when Kubrick actually did all the work. So
That is either lore or 100%.
yeah, no, if you're gonna give that lore to somebody, it's gonna be Kubrick. So
Yeah, I was like, with Kubrick, this seems possible.
um and then yeah, what else? I'm not really. I don't know any of his other work as let's quickly go through it. So maybe he was just a systems guy. I guess maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he started in he started in it was like silent film era.
Okay.
He's just one of those guys that transitioned through the system because his first credits are like in 1934. So yeah, he was just but there are a few things on there.
Well, say yeah, was his blurb up top says he's worked with John Huston, Stanley Kubrick, Steven Spielberg, and Orson Welles, which I don't know what he did with Kubrick, or did he shoot the Columbo episode with? 'Cause that's the only one on here that I know. I know Spielberg shot the first episode of Columbo, so maybe that's what it was.
Probably it is because there's actually some Columbo connections in this.
Well, this guy who directed this, Boris Sagal also did some Columbo episodes. So.
Okay, so probably that's true. I like the story with this though that I liked is Charlton Heston did not know there'd been a Vincent Price adaptation of this called The Last Man on Earth from 1964.
Oh, okay.
He read the book on an airplane.
Huh.
And he talked to Walter Seltzer, who, he was his agent who was getting, because he got him Soylent Green like 2 years later. So that was his agent that was getting Charlton Heston into these. Because this is the point in his career after, especially like Planet of the Apes and all that, where Charlton Heston kind of wanted to do different roles. That's why he showed up in some of this sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
Which seemed almost unusual because he went with a new guy, and the producer of this, Boris Seltzer, was also got him in Soylent Green. But he talked to him, and he's like, "I'd like to make this into a movie, and I'd like to work on a script, and I'd like Orson Welles to direct it." Orson Welles didn't want to direct it. If he had, it would have been wild. Like, really interesting what Orson Welles could do with this. But that ended up not happening. And so they had a few guys do a screenplay on it. And but that was, I did like that. It was like, no, originally this was a Charlton Heston idea. It's like, this is a cool book. We should make this into a movie. And I want my friend Orson Welles to direct it.
Interesting friends to have.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, I've heard of Touch of Evil, and then like then of course Citizen Kane, but it's like it doesn't seem like Orson Welles necessarily had like much success after Citizen Kane. But I actually haven't done the history on it. But Citizen Kane was so revolutionary that it's like, well, of course he wanted to have success, right? So,
Yeah.
um, and of course Orson Welles lives on in the modern day Ice Cube War of the Worlds movie from
Yes.
Prime. So.
Someone says what was the reviews I'm reading was like the best movie ever made. You can't possibly make a better movie than this. Stanley Kubrick has been knocked off his feet. Great reviews about it. I can't wait to get into it.
Cast is Charlton Heston, Anthony Zerbe, and Rosalind Cash.
Interesting thing about the screenwriters.
Oh yeah, John William Corrington and Joyce Hooper Corrington, a couple, right?
Yes, and she was a she is as a was a I don't know if she's still alive. Yes, she's still alive. She's 89. Was a professor that taught chemistry at a black school,
Huh.
and that's the character of Lisa
Okay.
was created, and it's like, yeah, you should include a character like this because she knew all about that culture and stuff. But yeah, the husband and wife team that were screenwriters, like he was a screenwriter. She also wrote on the screen. She was also a screenwriter, but she was also like had a PhD in chemistry and taught at the all black Xavier
Yeah.
school in Louisiana. And it was like, oh, you need a character like this. What the kids are into now. And then of course the director takes it and the studio takes it, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a mini blaxploitation film. I Am Legend. It's like, I don't know if that's what she meant, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah. Makes sense. It was unexpected. So.
No, yeah, it was.
And just show you in the 70s how much you had to do as a woman just to get second credit on second writing credits. And of course, it's based on a novel by Richard Matheson, who, like, technically, we last saw his story from a Twilight Zone episode being turned into Real Steel. So,
Yeah.
and then we last saw Charlton Heston and what Gray Lady Down was when we last saw him. I think maybe.
Oh, what was the?
Well, we did Green. We did.
Song of Green.
We did Soylent Green, but I think we did that before because Gray Lady Down. Oh wait, no. No, yeah, Gray Lady Down came in when we were going through the years, not the color thing. So.
Okay.
And then was it? And then I think Rosalind Cash was in some movie we saw recently, but I don't remember her in it. But she's listed as being in it. Let me see if I can find that real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of which one that would be. She has a pretty.
Oh, Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai and Clute, which I think we've done.
Yes.
Which I don't remember her in those movies, so she must have a small part.
Yeah.
Really, the crazy one is the kid who plays Richie became like a pretty like go-to TV director.
Okay.
Like he directed like 5 episodes of Lost and like basically 5 episodes of every other TV show in the last 20 years.
Okay. Yeah, Rosalind Cash mainly did TV and TV movies.
Yeah.
That was kind of her jam.
So I guess that's a preamble. So I guess we'll get into it. Oh wait, where are my notes? Oh, did I not put my notes up? Okay.
We'll find them.
Takes a computer crash to forget everything.
Trying to think, like Anthony Zerbe has been in a lot of things we talk about.
Okay.
Because he was I think he was the guy in License to Kill. I think he was the guy that got blown up in the decompression chamber.
I thought that was a black guy. Oh wait, no. There's like a black guy in the beginning. He gets shot with a spear gun that's like full of air and it blows him up or something.
Okay.
I think. License to Kill is such a weird, violent movie for a Bond
Yeah, it's the most unknown Bond film. Yeah.
movie.
And then he was the admiral in Star Trek Insurrection in 1998.
Oh, okay.
And then he was played one of the counselors in the Matrix
Huh.
series.
Well, so we get into Act 1. We open our red cat. Wait, is this Cadillac? I can't remember. I think.
Oh wait, I looked up the cars because there were some groovy cars. I think that was I think that was called a Ford XL.
Okay, all right.
Ford XL convertible, 1970.
Okay. Yeah, because he does say he's looking to trade in his Ford when he gets the next car, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
Charlton Heston plays Neville, or Dr. Robert Neville. He puts an 8-track and cruises to tunes in an empty city. Have you ever used or seen an 8-track, Nathan?
Yes.
Okay.
When I was a little kid, they were fairly common, and I believe I had the Star Wars soundtrack,
Okay.
and it had a little thing that looked like a robot that you could play 8 tracks in, because you could press the button. I know it had learning tapes, and you could press the button to make it do different things.
Yeah.
8-track players were fascinating because they were incredibly clicky, button heavy, but they did have a certain functionality. But you could tell why cassettes completely like, oh yeah, this is a cassette.
Well, I was looking up the history of it because, like, I always know 8-track as like kind of being like a joke technology, and then like it just went to the wayside. And the weird thing is that like cassette tapes were developed before 8-track tapes.
Yes.
But I guess like kind of just a rise in car culture, and that kind of gave way to 8-tracks being popular because it was a good way to listen to. I guess they just didn't have better cassettes, or they just 8-track won the day for the way. Or I guess also the thing is with 8-track is that they loop themselves back around, so you don't have to rewind them. So I guess when you're driving,
a lot of utility, you could like go to, you go right to the track. You could rewind.
Yeah, you could press that button, and then does it just fast forward to that spot, and then it just knows to fast forward? Okay,
yep,
that's
click and it starts playing.
Okay.
Everything was based 8-track. What do they call it? Everything's like withheld.
Okay.
Like once it hits the blank spot, click, the playhead engages.
Right. Okay. Huh.
They're just way more expensive to manufacture than cassette tapes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that was the same thing with VHS.
Yes.
But also there was a limitation with like, was it called 8-track because you can only have 8 tracks on it? Like there was a limitation where like you couldn't have a full album on an 8-track.
No, right? Yeah, you couldn't put a full. You had to have a part 1 and part 2 because I think the Star Trek or Star Wars soundtrack had like 2 cassettes.
Right. Okay.
But I know they were expensive to manufacture compared to cassettes, but they actually had a little more utility. Like if they'd stuck with that and developed it and made it larger, it would have been kind of cool, but it would never really fit in your pocket. So that's kind of cassettes just go right into your pocket.
Yeah. Ultimately, the Walkman kind of won the way, and then like almost like maybe like I don't know, maybe 10 years later, the CDs came along and completely took that up, and then basically. And then the iPod came along and took that up, and now it's just on your phone.
Yeah, now you just plug your phone in. There's nothing moves anymore. Just electrons, no mechanical components.
So yeah, he sees movement in a window and he just opens fires at it. So now we just introduce his submachine gun, which he'll have a bunch throughout this movie. So
yeah, this one is the Smith & Wesson M78 sub.
Oh, is this the same one?
M76 submachine gun.
Is this the same one they're using in what was that Peck and Paul movie we watched with like the guy from Bullet, Steve McQueen?
Oh yes, it is.
Okay, all right.
Because this is the one that we had to make because we were being embargoed because of the Vietnam War. Because the Swedish were making one for us, and then they said, "Oh, we're not going to sell it to you because you're." And it was like, "Okay, we'll just make our own." Then that's what this one was.
Okay.
Because I guess this was used by special forces.
Okay.
I don't know why. Maybe because it looks cool. I'm not sure.
Credits play over. That's like something kind of like a Bond theme plays.
Yes. The soundtrack to this movie is largely. It is just a background. Interesting though, the guy who did it was the guy who made the Doctor Who theme.
Huh. Okay.
An Australian guy, and he was his claim to fame was like, yeah, he did a lot of soundtracks like this was just kind of a woozy '70s soundtrack with a few interesting moments in it. But his claim to fame was like, oh yeah, he made the original, or not the original, the Doctor Who theme that almost everyone knows, and they
Yeah.
just keep updating with every
Yeah.
iteration of the
Dun,
Doctor.
dun, 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 dun.
This is the guy.
um, we see shots of corpses in the city. He takes like a rough turn and hits a sidewalk, and then like the rim and the tire get busted, and he just throws the keys away, grabs a submachine gun, a gas can, and heads off. He walks into a car dealership and looks around.
Funny, he sees the reason he had to swerve is because there was an armored truck in the middle of the road, and you see the back was blown open, and there were corpses around, and there was money and bars of gold in the road.
Oh, okay.
Looks at it like, huh, okay. Well, I take the gold because you can use that as like an alloy. And
Yeah.
stuff. I wouldn't. If there was a bar of gold sitting around, I'd definitely pick up one and take it. 'Cause, yeah, you can use that for a lot. It has a lot of purposes.
We can make so many electronic connections with this. So.
Yeah, the best electronic connection.
He walks into the car dealership and looks around. Neville sees a pinup model on a calendar, and it says 1975 on it, and he knocks it down, which is like a repeated theme in this movie, with the calendar saying March 1975. So I guess that's basically when the world ends and some world war, and then some chemical warfare or something happens. So.
Yeah, it's not exactly. Well, we'll get to it later because there's one of the characters ties into the news that they tell in flashbacks. So yeah.
He pretends to talk to a car salesman, and then he does some work on a car, and then he fills it with some gas, and he drives off in a pretty cool blue Mustang, which you saw a lot of like red and silver Mustangs around this time, so blue Mustang was pretty cool there. So.
That also was a 1970 Mustang convertible.
Okay. Neville goes to a movie theater where he sets up the projector and watches a film of like a documentary of Woodstock, which is kind of funny because it doesn't seem like he would be a guy. Well, I guess maybe I'm going to attribute that to Charlton Heston. He didn't seem like he would be a guy to like appreciate the movement and stuff of Woodstock.
Well, Charlton Heston to a lot of younger people, the last days were kind of remembered as being a conservative guy. He was president of the NRA. And that's kind of how he was like, oh, that's how everyone modern context remembers him. I remember because they had that disastrous interview with Michael Moore in Bowling for Columbine, where he didn't like really present his argument very well. But I think he was also trying to be decent. I felt like when watching that in retrospect, it's like, did he just kind of ambush an old guy with Alzheimer's? Or was just Charlton Heston was kind of
like...
Did
the NRA use someone's celebrity against him?
Well, yeah, what was always described as like he was like the face of the NRA, but he didn't like really actually run the organization. He was kind of like a ambassador. And I think he was trying to be like, yeah, people died and it was horrible, and that school shooting, the Columbine thing was terrible, but he was also trying to like present arguments, and no one came across very well out of that. It's like, yeah, he probably shouldn't have put that in the movie, because he did like, you went to his house and rang the buzzer and he was like, yeah, I'll talk to you. Most guys would be like, calling the cops, get out of here. So yeah, but yeah, actually Charlton Heston was kind of like almost became a sort of counterculture figure in the 50s and 60s. Where he was definitely more in line with more liberal stuff of that era, and then as he got older, he became more conservative, because he said he didn't shift his position, but the liberals kind of shifted theirs, and he couldn't go along with it anymore. So, which happens when you get older, trust me, it does. So, but yeah, he was not like he's only kind of remembered for the end. But yeah, if you like follow his life, it's like, no, he was all about like anti-racism and stuff like that. He's like, no, that's terrible. You shouldn't treat people that way.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it was actually,
which is funny because when you end up getting associated with conservatives, you're assumed to be a racist.
Yeah, that's. I mean, without merit, that is not a baseless assumption. So,
well, I remember I was thinking like with I actually don't know Burt Reynolds' like political connotations or anything like that, but like he had like a lot of private things he just really appreciated, art and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, I just make fun movies, but then he would support like real artists and stuff like
Mhm.
that are making important movies, and you'd never know about it
Oh,
because
yeah.
he's just a running back who's having fun making movies with his friends. So
I mean, yeah, I mean, like Smokey and the Bandit is not gonna, it's not gonna be up there with the greats, but it was a lot of fun.
yeah,
And the fact that he did like, he's like, well, I just get paid a lot, but I want to support the guys that really
yeah.
do the stuff. Yeah.
Um, he starts reciting lines in the documentary because he's just seen it so much. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing that's just the only movie that was laying around. So,
Yeah, that's
what
what was playing, I guess. Yeah.
what city is this supposed to be? Is this supposed to be like
Los
L.A. or something? Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. I guess I didn't recognize it, but I just assumed it was L.A. So
Book was set in L.A.
okay, all right, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's the one thing they did keep from the book because the one with Vincent Price was set in Rome.
Okay,
They could shoot there cheaply
yeah,
because the one that like Vincent Price did was that was all like that kind of genre of just low budget horror.
yeah, yeah. Hey, it's the end of the world. We only got to film one guy. We're saving so much money.
Yeah, we can shoot in Italy because it's like it's cheap. Uh, so yeah, but and then the last one, of course, was shot in New York City, but that was because they made New York City like epic in that movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, but this is
I
is
mean, it's
set
a
in
great scene when when he hits the T off of the SR-71 Blackbird on the aircraft carrier. So it's like,
well, just how they showed the city decaying too is very life after people.
yeah, yeah.
Like they did a good job. And he was driving a Mustang through New York at that time too, in that movie. So yeah, they did. There were some callbacks in there.
And I guess it's also more of a challenge to make New York look empty, even with CGI. So
Yeah. Well, this movie was interesting. How they made it look empty was they figured out that hardly anyone's out in L.A. in the shopping district on Saturday and Sunday morning.
okay,
So that's why most of the empty scenes, the city stuff they did. Now, when you get a high definition copy like I did, you can see people walking in cars in the background.
yeah.
But if you were
Well, you can
watching,
also see where they just took a still image and put it up there.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it really does stand out. But if you were watching this, on a regular TV in the '80s, like, you wouldn't see any of that.
yeah,
It's like, yeah, the city's empty, but it's like, yeah, I'll forgive it. It's sins 'cause they didn't $100 million to make this movie
Yeah.
either.
He leaves the theater. He sees the sun setting and gets in a hurry. Like all the phones in the city start ringing, which is really like effective. uh,
Actually, that's only happening in his head.
yeah,
Because that's even, it's like, oh, this guy is insane. Like our narrator is nuts.
yeah,
Because he's been alone for so long.
yeah, which makes sense. And then like that becomes sort of like the entire crux of the I Am Legend movie. Is like because it's all him alone. He's not being taunted by the the vampires. It's just like I gotta cure these these rage zombies or we're all gonna die. And they don't even like he doesn't have any human connection whatsoever. They don't taunt him. They don't treat him like he's human. They're not human. So it's like
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, that's a thing about those very isolating in the 2007 I Am Legend. He does not interact with these guys in any way.
yeah.
It'd be like talking to a tiger. There's just nothing to say. There's no communication.
Which is
Other
like
than
an interesting and like kind of ridiculous segment because there's like a mannequin he talks to and then it is suddenly in a different location and he's like arguing to himself like why are you there and like that's a good question.
I do want to know. Now, I remember I Am Legend. That one was particularly scary because, incidentally, 6 months before that movie came out, there was talk about what if we made a communicable virus into something that attacked cancer. Like that was like in some scientific journal,
yeah.
and they just happened to throw that in the movie as like this is where the virus came, or this is where the disease came from in that movie. It was like we were trying to make measles attack cancer,
Yeah.
and it created the rage zombies. But it's like I remember like, wait a minute, was that like some kind of like LARP tie-in or something? It's like, no, they were actually talking about it. I guess it didn't work, or they quit talking about it. One of the two. But yeah, that's
I don't
I
know.
remember that movie that was poignant. But yeah,
There's a weird thing that like we don't use here very much, or at least that not, or maybe it's not popular here or something. They use that a lot in Russia. It's called a bacteriophage, um, where it's a virus that only attacks bacteria. So they give you a virus, but it only attacks bacteria, and bacteria are plant cells, so it's very specific. So it generally doesn't hurt the host; it just hurts the bacteria.
yes, your body will be a battleground.
So, um, yeah, Neville screams like there's no phones ringing, damn it, and then they stop ringing. So it's like, oh, okay, this is like a psychological thing. So,
Yeah,
but he also says it's almost dark, they'll be waking up soon. So it's like, well, is he fully crazy? And then Neville speeds off. It's dark, and he pulls up to a garage and opens it with a remote. And then there's just like guys in robes come in and drop fire on him. He drives to the fire. He kills a couple of guys, the robe guys, closes the door, and then puts out the fire kind of casually. So, um, which I just call these guys ghouls throughout the rest of it because that seems more what they're kind of look like, I guess.
yeah. What do they call them?
They call themselves the family, but I don't remember like if there's a name for like these infected people, the plague infected people.
Yeah, it's like they call them like plague mutants or something. That was in some of the promotional material.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, he opens up a gate inside the garage and starts a generator, and then the lights shine outside, and all the robe people scurry off. So like this is like why he was afraid of night coming, because it seems like these people can only exist at the night, which is vaguely vampire-esque, but not. These people aren't vampires. They're just
They're not bursting into flames or disintegrating.
no,
So
no.
it's not like that.
They don't need to drink blood. Although we don't see them eat or anything like that, so I don't know if they're.
Oh no, they do
Oh
eat.
wait,
'Cause
no,
that's,
we see the trash can. Yeah,
yeah, it's how he tracks them. He's looking for their waste.
right.
Because essentially they're like it's like Night of the Comet. It's like, yeah, it killed everyone else, but these guys, for some reason, it's just happening to them a lot slower.
Yeah.
They're still inevitably dying. Like he is the only wholly human person we meet
Yeah.
for a long time.
Neville goes up in an elevator and has flashbacks of a war, and we get a flashback of the news talking about Russian aggression and whether the U.S. will get involved.
Yeah, this is the Sino-Russian War,
Yeah.
which was a thing that was around. It was a theory because there used to be a name for that. Yeah, but essentially the Chinese communists and the Russian communists accused each other of being fake communists. They were all actually fake communists, but they then decided like they broke. Like China signed extensive treaties with us after that. It's like if you go to war with the Soviet Union, we're your backup. We'll fight. We'll fight on your side
Yeah.
because they're not true communists. Then once you defeat them, then we'll fight each other. Global communism or whatever. But yeah, there was a huge split between Russia and China, and the Soviet Union and China.
Yeah.
And it was actually conceivable that like they would go to war before we went to war because they both had those big dumb like communist armies. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, they'll throw millions of people at each other and it'll be a disaster, and
Yeah.
they'll use nuclear weapons, and it's like they'll ruin the world for us. We won't have to do it. But then that kind of dissipated over time. Because that was one of the things in like Red Dawn they mentioned. It was like, oh yeah, when the Russians like invaded, or when the Soviet Union invaded America, like we had treaties with the Chinese, and so they invaded the Soviet Union. They just nuked the Chinese.
Oh, okay.
So they're asking like, why hasn't the Red Army just rolled over America? It's like, well, they're fighting another war with the Chinese right now. But that was a concept back then that's like a lot of people don't know about now. But yeah, it was a very real thing because of the way their systems were organized. It was way more likely. It's like, yeah, these people will go to war with each other because no matter what, we don't share a physical border with Russia. Chinese do, a long one, and all the resources are to the north of China that the Soviet Union had. And it's like it actually would not be in their worst interest to just roll their huge army into there, but they never did it because the Russians would just nuke them. And it's like, yeah, you don't win. Doesn't matter how big your army is if they're all dust. So,
he gets to the top floor and he gets ready for bed. He has a video surveillance set up, which seems like pretty early for this time to have video surveillance.
yeah, especially as clear as it seemed to be.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what medium they're using. 'Cause
Yeah.
this was
Or
like,
or he just had like cameras out of a film studio. It's like, yeah, I'm just nailing these up outside because money's not an object.
hey, I guess it'd have to be a digital video somehow. I'm not sure, but he gets a top. He talks to himself in one of the screens, which is a funny joke. Later on, when he looks at the camera, he's like, "I'm a narcissist."
He was doing that just for the illusion of someone to talk to.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you don't find out really until later. It's like, oh, this guy's like a doctor. Like, he's really smart.
yeah,
Initially, you think he's like some army guy,
yeah.
something like that. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
he
he's,
doesn't. Yeah, there's nothing about him. Seems like a doctor. He's like killing people and all this stuff. And it's
he
like,
has military weapons. He seems to know what he's doing. It's like, oh, and then he has a hat that's like a army officer's hat on Julius Caesar, and it's
yeah,
like, oh, okay, this guy's like some kind of military guy.
yeah, yeah. And then Neville starts hearing taunting and laughing outside, and he looks out to the people. They're like setting fire to stuff, which they're setting fire to like technology and books and stuff like that, because they feel that um, technology and science ruin the world, so we have to get rid of it to save the world, or just to further completely bury the old world or whatever.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Because it doesn't seem like they like, I don't, because they talk about it like we must bury the old world, but it's like, so is something gonna take its place? It's like, no, it'll just be dead.
Yeah. We're just killing everything because we can. But see, a lot of this stuff was based on the Manson family.
Okay.
That's kind of where this idea came from of Matthias and his night people. Is like, yeah, because Charles Manson, if you listen to his philosophy, yeah, just random nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. We're going to start a race war, and that because that's why we're killing all these people, the rich people or whatever, and then we're going to survive through the race war when the white people lose. And it's like, wait a minute, everyone in your family is a white guy. Like, how are you going to live through that, Charlie? And it's like, this is where like doing acid 800 times kind of mutates.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they're calling themselves the family, so yeah, I guess that's a direct reference. Okay.
Yeah, so this is very much based on like the Manson stuff and all that.
They also taunt him by saying his name, but just like yelling Neville out loud. A couple of ghouls talk about like two of their people being killed by Neville. Which, yeah, this is Matthias and like Zachariah, I think.
Yeah.
He talks about like his gadgets and like and also about machines and science destroying the world and things like that. So that's sort of get like a look into their philosophy. So either being the Act 1, we show like how the world is set up and who the antagonists are. So. Act 2, we zoom in on a flashback of a newscaster, which this is just Matthias, right? So
yeah, this is his previous life as a Walter Cronkite type figure.
Which that's super interesting.
Yeah. It's one of the coolest things in the movie. But it ties in.
Yeah.
Like this guy became this voice of news to this. He became this cult voice.
And they mentioned about like a germ warfare, which, they throw these things out here, but they don't directly say what happened to the world. Just suddenly a plague happened and everybody died. So,
but they also have images of missiles and nuclear mushroom clouds. So it's like, yeah, apparently a lot of bad stuff happened, but it didn't involve like American cities getting nuked. It's just like everyone died here, or at least Los Angeles didn't get nuked.
Yeah.
Because everyone just died of disease.
Yeah.
And it's also a bacteria. Which is interesting, like, because we always think of viruses now.
Yeah.
Because we think bacteria aren't, it's like that's not a problem. It's like, well, once we're out of penicillin, it is. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, what was like us? Crap. What's that thing that's dead now? What's that? They're I think polio was a bacteria. Let me look that up. Oh, I know, polio vaccine. Never mind, that had to be a virus. Most dangerous bacteria.
I feel like MRSA or something now.
I mean, it's dangerous, but like, man, I can't remember what it is. There was something that like this used to kill people on the regular, or like cause like severe thought it was polio, but oh well. Anyways, um, so yeah, we cut to like we just see people because before it was just an empty city, and we saw some dead people, but now we just cut to parts of the city where it's just dead people all over. uh, and then we're like, oh wait, no, because this is the newscast. Right. Yeah, we're still in the newscast, and we cut to like Neville, and this is like 5 years ago or whatever. And Neville scoffs at the newscast, and he's in a lab coat working on a vaccine. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a if it's a bacteria, it's not a vaccine. It would be a antibacterial or whatever. So, because vaccines are for viruses, and then antibiotics are for bacteria. So,
Yep.
And you have to take a lot of strange stuff to fight off parasites.
Yes.
Parasites are hard to kill because they are also living things, and you have to take things that hurt living things, and you're a living thing. So
Yeah. What was that stuff that people were saying? It's a super effective veterinary drug, but people were saying it cured COVID too.
was it ivermectin or something like that?
Yes. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you got to take
Yeah,
to kill parasites.
it's like horse dewormer or something like that.
Basically kills any kind of like intestinal worms that a mammal can get.
Yeah,
Because like bugs, even in North America, if you put them in water, I forget there's some bugs like put them in a thing of water, like close the top on them, and they'll drown, and the worm parasites will just burst out of them.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
trying to stay alive, and it's like, yeah, we can't really. Well, there's so many billions of insects, it doesn't matter. It doesn't kill them. But yeah, if we didn't have stuff like horse dewormer around, we would be like that too, full of intestinal worms and all kinds of stuff. And in a lot of countries, it's a problem. It's like not usually a problem in the West, but yeah, what was those horrible stuff? Oh, it's basically nightmare inducing. Like whenever people that went to Afghanistan or the Democratic Republic of Congo to shoot footage, it's like you automatically got treated for intestinal parasites when you came back because it's guaranteed you have them. Because I forget what you have to take, but it's
yeah. You can go to the CDC website, which I think is still useful, and you can find the things that when you go to places, like here's all the things you need to prepare for, like medicine wise, to travel to this country. So.
Well, the guy was saying they went there and filmed stuff. They took like preparatory stuff to prevent it, and they basically brought their own food. And when they came back, they were still like, "Yeah, you got to take all this stuff." Oh, okay. And then their first trip to the toilet was like a nightmare. They're like, "I had no idea," and it's like, "Oh yeah." I forget what they're called. I think they're called like bullworms or hookworms.
Okay, yeah.
It's just nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm never going there. So.
Neville takes a chopper out of there, but then the pilot dies on the way over, and then also like Neville's like trying to take over the chopper, but he's also struggling with the plague. Like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
And then the chopper crashes and has a huge explosion, which seems like it would kill everyone. But
Well, his spine just snapped.
yeah, but Neville's alive, and he's just kind of like bleeding and slightly injured, but he's also like dying of the plague, and because we show footage of basically people dying of the plague in like seconds. But he's the main character, so he lives for seconds longer, enough to inject one of his experimental vaccines on just a guess, because I don't think these are all the same vaccine. He just took one of the versions of them.
Well, he had a whole like case full of them.
Yeah.
Just like grabbed the first one and gave himself a shot. And that's we fade out, and it's like, well, I guess he lived.
So yeah, we cut back to modern times, and Matthias and crew have built a catapult. Well, I guess this is more of a slingshot, but it kind of looks like a catapult. So
yeah, it's called a ballista.
Oh yeah, ballista. Yeah. I guess it was shooting balls, which I associate that more with catapults.
Yeah.
Actually, it's like, yeah, that's the thing. Was it like somehow catapult became the more interesting name, but really everybody used ballistas and trebuchets?
Well, I mean, from what I understand, a ballista is just like a giant crossbow.
Yeah.
Like that kind of technology, because it's storing energy in like, well, it's supposed to store. They were using some kind of rubberized thing, but really the ballistas, like all the energy was stored in kind of like the arms and the rope being twisted and
Yeah.
tension being brought against them. Whereas catapults, I think it was the energy was stored like in ropes also, but it's like it's sudden stop.
Yeah.
It's like the arm came up and got stopped by the pole, but then what the bucket was carrying with it continued forward on its ballistic arc. So it was kind of a simpler device,
Yeah.
I guess. And then the trebuchet was like apex, like technology, like that was devastating. The next step after that was gunpowder artillery. Yeah, trebuchets were. It was like no one had ever seen a weapon that just knocked down stone walls. Like, oh god! But they were very difficult to build, very dangerous to operate, and yeah.
Neville's dressed up and cooking dinner. He says the family are down 3 pawns because there's a chess game here, but it's just kind of like a thing to focus on. It never really means anything other than
Yeah, it's not like, oh, checkmate, he won against himself and then he dies in the next scene or
Yeah.
something. No, it's just more of it's him and Julius Caesar, a statue of Julius Caesar in an army hat. Playing each other.
and then it's used as a joke one time where Lisa's there and like he makes a chess move and he goes like, your move, and she's like, I already made my move. Which is fun, but
she's wearing a silky nightie,
yeah,
talking in that voice, and it's like, yeah, you won.
The family starts flinging fireballs out into his apartment, and he just goes and casually puts it out with a fire extinguisher. So,
yeah, he's wearing like a gentleman's smoking jacket and
yeah.
like a frill. He's dressed like the John Pertwee Doctor Who.
Yeah.
he's like really having a good time.
He grabs a gun with like a night scope on it and fires at them, and they leave. So it's pretty like
BAR. Early phase like a night scope where you had to carry a battery with you.
Yeah,
like
it's huge.
Those are real things, but this was a movie.
Was that a Starlight scope or is that something different? Because this is like has red. It's red. It's not like the normal night vision or something. So I don't know if it was like trying to do infrared or something like that. Or
well, yeah, essentially this would be like World War I to Vietnam era technology where that was an infrared light. Now it wasn't in real life; they weren't red.
Yeah,
but you could see it through the scope. It would reflect it was like a infrared searchlight, and then the scope would you could see at night kind of with that because reflecting the rays off. Because they had that in World War II. The Germans had it on some of their tanks and stuff. It didn't work very well, and it used a tremendous amount of power. By this time, they had those in the Vietnam War, and it was a backpack type.
Okay.
Thing. And now it's just the technology is crazy, but it was kind of cool to see a world. Like a almost World War I, World War II, like gun that old with like, we're gonna put an infrared scope on it.
But it's like, but weirdly, it's in keeping with his character. He has this technology he's going to use it. So Dr. Neville is going to use his super gun against the ghouls.
Fire a BAR into a crowd of zombies and apparently not kill them. It's like,
they scurry off. So
destroyed the ballista. I'm not sure. Like BARs, it's a 30-06. It's fully automatic.
Yeah.
Just throwing lead.
We cut to it's morning. Neville is out for a jog, and he talks about like needing to find a nest. Then we see Neville searches through a hotel, presumably looking for the nest. And then he just finds more dead bodies. He finds a little trash can that has like food and gets suspicious. And then he kicks down a door where there's a ghoul like dead in a chair. He doesn't know it yet when he comes up to it. And then they just see like, oh, it's just a dead ghoul that's succumbed to the plague. So it's like, oh, that's their end of their lives. So like they didn't like survive the plague. They're just slowly dying from it. And then he pulls out like a tape recorder to like talk. I guess to talk to himself. This doesn't become a thing in the rest of the movie. But
Yeah, this movie has a lot of what I call character development shorts. Oh, is this going to be? No, it's not. Okay.
He says August 5th, 1977. The sweep continues, or something like that. So, I think I have a better Heston, but whatever. I forgot how to do it. So, because like yeah, I think like Tiny Toons and stuff like that, they would have like Heston impersonations and stuff like that, and like people from the '70s, and it would be funny, and I'd vaguely know who they were talking about, but like it was clearly the people that created this that was a joke to them and not really for the children that they made the stuff for. So,
Kids really into testing anymore.
what's that?
So kids be into this try anymore.
I'm sorry. It looks like. Can you hear me? Because like you're kind of slowing on my end.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Your video is completely stopped. So I don't know. There was a thunderstorm rolling through here, so I don't know if some weird stuff has happened. So.
Oh, well, there's always something weird happening. But yeah, you're still coming through and moving around.
Okay.
I assume I'll catch up eventually.
Yeah, I can hear your audio, but your video is just gone dead. And but your audio is kind of choppy, but I think we can continue. So.
Okay.
Let's see here. Then we cut to Neville goes into a clothing store and starts picking out new clothes. Like he just takes his shirt off because it's sweaty, and then he just starts grabbing new clothes. So it's like, yeah, I don't do laundry. I just grab new clothes.
I'm the best consumer on earth. He picks up cologne and just like pours it on himself.
Yeah. Yeah. What's patchouli was a thing? Was it like
Yeah, it's still a thing, but yeah.
It's like you don't need to bathe, just throw some patchouli on or something like that. Was that their intent, or was that I don't even know. So
I'm not sure. The whole not bathing every day is most of the rest of the world. That's just an us thing. So it's like, well, you must bathe 3 times a day. It's like, what are you doing? Rolling around in horse shit? It is nice to.
There is a bunch of mannequins around this, which that's like, there's an important mannequin in the I Am Legend movie, but here there's a bunch of them set up, and I don't know if he set up or they're just there like that, whatever. So, but they do have this moment where he hears a noise and looks around, and we see a lady that's pretending to be a mannequin, but he's like, he's because we show he is like somewhat delusional, so you don't know if anything that's happening is actually happening. So it's like,
Yeah.
So is this a real woman or not? Because she doesn't have the plague. And then you see her eyes move, and then he's like, "Hey!" And then she runs off, and then Neville chases after her. He loses her, and then he like kind of sits down at a bench, and then he just thinks he's hallucinating. And they're like, "All right, let's move on." Then I forget how we get here, but Neville hears some more commotion. He goes down into a wine cellar, and then the ghouls just drop a wine rack on him. So, which I feel like that would have just killed him, but although because of how the family works, they do have very crude ambush tactics of like, we're gonna drop something on him. So,
Well, the family's all like anti-tech.
yeah.
Because it's like, if those guys all showed up with guns in front of his house, they just keep shooting until you kill them. Like, just keep firing into the building.
Well, they do have fire, so it never made sense why they didn't just burn the house to the ground. But I guess that's just too easy. So, but they also think, I don't know, it's weird. I guess they want a trial first because they do think they're better than everyone, and then they need to have like some sort of mock trial before they just kill them with fire. So I don't know. Neville wakes up with Matthias asking questions about Neville, and then they declare him evil. So he says, "You are the refuse of the past," and then he says, like, "Take him to the little room for questioning." So,
yeah, it's like, that sounds foreboding. What goes on in the little room? Just find out it's just a smaller room.
yeah, it's just another room, and Matthias and Neville talk, and then just they fit the same amount of people in that room eventually. And then like Neville's like, "If you're organized, why don't you try finding a cure?" Which I guess they get mad. He gets mad. Matthias gets mad about that. It's like, we're not here to solve problems. Like, so they take him out to execute him. They tie him to a cart, and then they just move him to a pyre to be burnt, which is set in like the middle of
It's just Dodger Stadium.
Oh, it's Dodger Stadium. Okay. He's got a dunce cap on also, so
Yeah, I was wondering at first, like, what was this? He's dressing him up like a KKK guy. Dunce cap, okay.
Um, then they set him on top of like technology and books to be burned, which I guess there's like I don't know some kind of irony there or whatever. So they've just combined a pyre and book burning all in one thing. So
Yeah.
then the lights on the stadium turn on and the ghouls run away because they're not just like sensitive to sunlight; it's just any light basically. So a torch lands on the pyre, and then like a guy keeps trying to light on fire, but like it doesn't. It kind of catches fire, but then doesn't. And then a guy runs up and just cuts Neville loose and takes him away at gunpoint. So it's like, oh, is he on his side? Because it doesn't necessarily seem like it at this moment. Um, so yeah, this guy is he's not a ghoul. He just looks normal. Uh, he gets Neville gets thrown in a locker, and this is where Lisa, played by Rosalind Cash, holds him at gunpoint. And she's like not too happy to see him, and like gives him a light beating as she's talking to him.
She's not using trigger discipline at all,
No,
which is very important in the scene coming up.
no.
Colt 1903 hammerless.
Finger in the trigger all the time. So.
Nickel-plated pistol, which is, I mean, it's patterned. It's what came before the 1911, so it's that kind of trigger.
Yeah,
it's not like a Glock trigger or a heavier trigger. It's like, no, that could go at any time. You're using very bad trigger discipline.
Yeah, her trigger is in the trigger guard basically the entire time. So
you pistol whip him with your finger. You will kill him.
Well, that's how you hit somebody in front of you and shoot somebody to the side of them.
Yeah. You really want to get their attention. Hit them with a pistol and have it go off next to their head. Undivided attention.
Lisa holds up Neville and like makes him get a motorcycle out and makes him drive it, and then this is where she basically has the gun right next to his head with her gun in the trigger guard, or finger in the trigger guard.
Yeah, it's just, hang on.
I mean, she is saying like, "Hey, don't do anything crazy," and they proceed to do everything crazy. So
yeah, it's just funny because when you think because you can tell like, oh, this is an actress that has and they're not doing like having a safety meeting. This is the 70s.
They just give him a gun that's like, is that loaded? I don't know.
I think in the high definition version you can tell like there's metal like right inside, like it's just a prop gun. Like you can tell.
Okay.
The non-blank firing gun. But yeah, I mean nowadays you'd have a guy on set. It's like, even though this is a prop, this is how you would handle it and not like indiscriminately kill people.
Yeah.
And the way we've all been trained now, it's so funny to see. It's like, you freeze, sucker. It's like, oh, finger off the like, we're gonna ride a motorcycle down steps, and I'm gonna have my finger wrapped around the ball and stuff. And I'm gonna be bouncing around on this motorcycle. You're driving it, and if I shoot you in the back of the head, well, I'm going face first. So it's a humorous scene on many levels.
She has the ultimate trigger discipline.
Yeah.
Her finger's on the trigger and it never fires.
Yeah, she has the world's strongest finger. It's like, this will not move. No matter what, I could be hit with a garbage truck going 40 miles an hour. I won't pull this trigger.
Unless I want to. We see Dutch. That's the guy that grabbed him first. He's like on foot tossing grenades at all the ghouls.
Yeah. It's kind of like flare grenades.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different like things here because there's like, there's like they throw flashbangs, which makes sense. That would like really hurt them. But then he's got like Molotovs and just grenades, which I guess they're just scrounging things up, so they just have whatever. So.
Yeah, they have full access to whatever the world can provide.
Yeah,
because they have like military.
Yeah, I mean,
well, one of the what's the guy? Matthias's right hand man, Zachary. He's like, I could go down to the arsenal and get an artillery right now, and we could get out of that house. And he's like, no, that is the way of the old world. It's like this guy's like hanging on only by goofy philosophy, because the family could like, let's just go get some RPGs and solve, or whatever the equivalent would be at that time in America. Let's get this guy out of the house. But that would make a fun movie if he just burned alive in the house. Like, wow, this is sad.
So they ride off into the tunnel, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. Like, they constantly are riding downstairs and finding new tunnels to ride in, which I don't know how Dodger Stadium works, but I'm guessing probably maybe that's how it works. I mean, they had a motorcycle hidden in a closet, so whatever. So.
Yeah, they'd had this doped out for a while. Stash cycle.
It's also funny because you can clearly see the stuntman driving it because Charlton Heston, like, he kind of has gray hair in this movie, but it's not very pronounced, and they just have the stuntman in a powdered wig. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, the stuntman has a different body. You can tell he's a more muscular guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I could tell right away. It's like because they were doing all the close-ups are on Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
But all the middle stuff is like, that's a different guy. But for the kind of money they had, I will give them, they did a lot of good, like, Escape from New York style background. It's like it's filming in Dodger Stadium at night or stuff. That's classic. Like, it's like, how do we build this empty world on a very low budget? It's like, well, you film at night and you throw garbage all over the place. It's abandoned. And then you can have your crew clean that up when they're done.
Yeah. And then they end up, like, they're going through tunnels. I think Dutch catches some people on fire, so they go the other way as the people are running around on fire, and then they go down more stairs, and then eventually just go through another tunnel, and then, like, ramp a car and get out of there. So, wasn't it
down the stairs at Dodger Stadium?
Yeah, like right into the field.
Be really, like, wildly abusive on your testicles, like that. But
yeah, it's like I wasn't expecting motorcycle stunts in, like, an end of the world zombie movie kind of thing. So,
well, this was the age of Evel Knievel and stuff like that.
Right.
So
okay. Yeah.
Stuff in there. Because it's actually, like, the worst escape vehicle to be on is a motorcycle, because they're so easy to, like,
disable.
Metal pole will, like cold. Like,
yeah.
And the drivers are unprotected. You don't stand in front of the motorcycle and get run down. You're in Dodger Stadium. Find a baseball bat. Hang it up. You don't even have to swing it. Just hold it out and let it do the work for you. But yeah, motorcycles are always seen as, like, it's like, the Desert Warriors vehicle. It's like, yeah, you just knock them off.
They're agile and you can jump with it. So,
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm surprised
I never actually watched The Great Escape, but, like, and that's probably like, by comparison, a pretty tame, that, like, in motorcycle stunt they do. So by comparison, because you just jump a fence with it or something. So
yeah,
okay.
I think they did something, though, you could actually do. Like, that was the thing.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't have to, like, put it on a crane and haul it over and shoot it to make it look like it.
And that was, like, their one capitulation. It's like, let's have the American live because everybody else dies, right, in that movie. We cut to daytime. They ride to the outskirts of the city. He meets a bunch of young survivors, which they're all, like, succumbing to the plague, just slower.
Yeah, there's no one over the age of 30 there, is what's said. So, but now you find out, like, why Lisa is so, like, doesn't like him a whole lot. And it's like, yeah, they've been hiding out in Los Angeles too, and they've just seen this lunatic going around in his car shooting at everything constantly. I don't want to be near this, and they have a bunch of kids to take care of.
Yeah.
You're this lunatic. It actually makes sense why she feels the way she
does.
I
mean, that the first thing he fires at, we don't necessarily get a clear view of it. He could have been firing at one of them for all we know.
Yeah, it could have been her, just, like, trying
not. Dutch comes riding back on a motorcycle. He says, "I was a med school senior when they scratched the world."
Yeah. This guy has a lot of man dialogue. Yeah, he's one of those guys.
Yeah, I actually like the Dutch character, but he just kind of, like, disappears for, like, the last third of the movie and then just shows up like nothing happened. So
yeah, this movie has a lot of disjointed characterization.
Yeah,
because there's like three main leads that do kind of develop. There's Charlton Heston, Anthony Zerbe, and Rosalind Cash. Everyone else is just kind of, like, tertiary.
Yeah.
It's like, they're going to have a part to play later. It's like, no, not really. Zachary kind of gets a cool death.
Yeah.
Because he, like, changes his mind about technology. It still is his undoing. But everyone else just kind of, like, is a background player.
Lisa's brother is succumbing to the plague. Neville goes and checks him over, which he's got like the white hair and the, the white eyes and stuff like that. Which the Zachary character is a black character that's suffering from about albinoism from the plague. So this is like kind of what's happening here too. So we see everybody suffering from it in similar ways. Um, they write they write off to discuss like the cure because they're like because Dutch is a med student and they're talking about things they can do, and he's like, how long that would take to like I forget, like synthesize a antibody. It's gonna take forever from my blood. What are you talking about? So that's the thing about the I Am Legend movies. Like he spends like he is alone the whole time, but he is like trying to like make a cure the entire time. Whereas in this movie, it's like he's basically just given into his base needs to like survive and basically have fun to stay sane by grabbing guns and cars and just going all over the place.
Well, as far as he knows, though, everyone in the world is dead.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing. Like, yeah, he does like change gears here because he's like, oh, there are people, and there's something worth actually living for. Again.
Yeah, and it takes the Richie character to suggest that maybe they can cure the family. Which he gives them like kind of an ultimatum. It's like either cure him or kill him. So, we get a flashback of Neville trying to give a ghoul a serum of his blood, but then they just die in pain. So that's why he gave up on like developing a cure, essentially. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he did actually try that, but they fight him so violently, it's like he can't.
Well, then they died in pain after he got the because I think he just injected somebody with his blood to see what would happen. I can't something like that. I think. Neville tries some serums on Richie or whatever to try to stabilize him. Lisa tells him to take a break, and then she kind of like has her hand let out like she's gonna like let's go for a dance or something like that. Then he like sits down in his like penthouse like living room, and Lisa puts on some music. Neville pours some booze. This is where we get the thing where he says like, where he moves the chess piece and he goes, "Your move," and he's like, "I already made my move." So it's like, so she's hitting on him. We hear the ghouls taunt Neville, and then he just closes the door. And then Lisa tells a story of how like she was with Matthias's crew for a bit, which like, well, that seems weird because like they're clearly not not succumbing to the plague. But then they talk about how like one day they just woke up and they left, and like saying that like they didn't like them because of their skin. It was like, oh, that's an interesting like racism in the end times, where it's like these guys are all albino. They didn't like them because they were black, even though they had black albino people in their crew. So, but then is that also like a ruse? Her character turn or not turn at the end of it is really confusing. So I don't know what's going on there.
That's part of the character. That's part of the big problems of this movie is the like ideas are thrown out there and then zero follow up development.
Yeah.
But like Dutch says, that they are fully aware that they all have the disease.
Yeah.
It's just like they all know they are inevitably going to die from it. So I think even people that weren't completely like as far gone as Matthias and some of his people, I think there were people that weren't quite as far gone yet, and they basically take anyone in because the only person obviously not sick and acting differently was Neville.
Yeah.
Like he was fighting with them and not trying to, because we don't know what kind of relationship they might have had at some point. It's like, oh, did Neville and Matthias like know each other?
Yeah.
And it's like, and so it's not implied that they do, but yeah, so it's like it seems like everyone's cognizant that this all eventually kills you. It's just younger people seem to have a more of an inherent resistance to it, even though we don't see bunches of young people. So it's like, well, maybe certain young people.
But with how the end comes out, is this scene have like a double side to it? Is like she just an agent the whole time and she's seducing him, or did they think they didn't think that through?
They didn't think that through.
Okay, all right. So this is just a genuine, straightforward scene here where it's like, this is like finally a man she can like relate to, I guess.
Yeah, because like her and Dutch, they were like resistance people caring for children and her brother.
Yeah,
and then her brother starts to become one of the mutants or whatever, and then this guy like stops that. And so immediately she's like, I'm in love with this guy on levels, because no one has an intact family in this in this world, and it's like
Yeah.
she now does have a mostly intact family because of him. So, but yeah, it seems like whenever the virus takes over with her, it's very sudden, and she immediately changes alliance. It's like, why would you do that? I don't know, what it does to their minds either. So that could be like a thing. They could be like, there's a lot of indications of very primitive thinking here,
Yeah.
and a kind of a lack of nuance. So yeah, they're basically like there's mortally, they're just mortal creatures heading towards the end. So that it's all weird though. It's not a
They
perfect.
they start to share a kiss, and then the lights go out, and then Neville grabs a gun, and to go to the fuel generator, which he also throws her a gun, and she's like, "What's this for?" And he goes, "Comfort," which is funny. So he climbs down the elevator shaft because the power's out. So that's a fun little bit here. Zachary takes a spear and a gun, which he kind of like keeps slightly hidden from Matthias because he's just like, no, I'm gonna use this. This will easily kill him. Like, why do we have to do primitive methods? Oh, they just kind of have like a cool oh, what's that climbing rope thing?
It's like a grappling hook.
Yeah, grappling hook. So,
Yeah.
so he's gonna ambush Neville when he comes back up the penthouse. Neville goes to refuel the generator. It won't start, so he has to do some light maintenance to get it going. Which that's probably true. Yeah, whenever you run a generator dry, you got to do some extra stuff to get it going again. So.
Prime the pump. Yeah,
Yeah.
Get it moving. Especially in those days, that would all be like carburation and stuff.
Okay. Neville comes up the elevator, and then Zachary tries to kill him, but then Neville just shoots him dead off the balcony, and he land. Does he land on some fencing or something like that?
Yeah, he gets nailed on the fence.
Okay, yeah.
Because he has his 45 and his spear, but remember, like when he shoots Zachary, it looks like he's shooting Lisa because she's like in the way.
Yeah,
almost. And they're waving machine guns, like fully automatic 9mm, and somehow he doesn't hit her. He hits Zachary like with the full magazine.
I forget. Does she yell Richard? I can't remember what name she yells.
I think she yells Robert. I thought.
Oh, okay. Who's Robert?
Robert Neville, the main character.
Oh, right. Never mind. I thought that. I was thinking. I confused Richard Matheson with Robert Neville. So okay. Yeah. Is there a character Matthias in the book?
I don't think so.
Do you think he was named after Matheson?
I probably. The book, it's basically like the movie
Okay.
with Will Smith. They're unthinking creatures.
Well, they do taunt him, don't they? Like there's talking back and forth with because they're just vampires in the book, right?
No, I don't know if they taunt him in the book. I don't remember. I always thought they were more like animals.
Oh, maybe I read something different. I remember them like they taunt him like they do in this movie. It's just like they're just vampires rather than these ghouls.
Oh well, maybe yeah, but like whooping at him or something.
Oh no, like because I think maybe I misread something because I thought there's something where like they taunt like they talk through his door or maybe even they call his phone or something like that.
Well, I think in the book there's like because there's like the animalistic scary vampires from like the Will Smith movie, and then there's other people that seem human but they are also but they're a different kind of vampire.
Okay, yeah.
But he is truly like the last man on Earth in the book.
Okay.
Like everyone is some form of vampire but him. And he's only that way because he got bit by a bat when he was younger, and it made him somehow immune to this stuff that killed everyone else. But yeah, so yeah, you're right. Yeah, they do. That's right. There is like a group of humans, but they're also vampires, and he doesn't understand that right away, and then he does. And then that's like that because that's the name. Like the name of the book is "I'll Be the Legend of Evil in the New Vampire Universe." Because the last human that was killing him. So yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
So yeah, Zachary dies a horrible death, and then so then Lisa and Neville make out and have sex. So. Cut to Act 3, or now Act 3. It's morning. Lisa's naked in bed. She closes the blinds to shut out the light, so you can at least get some indication, like she's becoming more sensitive to light, so she's succumbing more to the plague.
because she like basically ran fully nude and immediately shut the window. So yeah, that's your first tell. Like, oh yeah, she doesn't like that.
Neville says he comes out. He's got his like doctor coat on. He says Richie is stable. Neville and Lisa go out looking for medical supplies, and they go to his old lab. And this is where we have Lisa looks at the calendar and gets like dour. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know what we're meant to take from that other than like, oh, old times or something like that. I don't know. Or maybe that's just the day when the world ends and everybody has a deep scar about it or something like that.
Oh yeah, probably.
So. I just don't know what it is about the calendar that like a calendar and a date that makes everybody like pause and suddenly go quiet and like get kind of angry. So, no, it's their 9/11 name, I guess. They take blood from Neville. He starts working on a cure again. Um, um, they're checking on Richie. On Richie, he doesn't have white eyes anymore, so it's like, well, that's progress.
Yeah.
Which I think I forget. There's a thing early on where I think we see their eyes, but like all the ghouls have like sunglasses and they reveal it, and there's like, look at our eyes, we have the mark, and I was like completely unimpressed with that part. It's like, yeah, I get that. Like, I don't know
What do
what.
they call them? The beautiful marks or something?
Yeah, something like that. Lisa grabs a gun and goes out shopping, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Richie and Neville talk about what the cure might be able to do. So he's like, will it cure like they say there's like different degrees of the plague, which I think they call like the family like tertiary like plague victims or something like that, and like they're wondering if it will like if it's just gonna cure like people like Richie or if it's gonna be people that are like closer to death from it or whatever. Um, Neville rests as he gets lightheaded from giving so much blood. They also like kind of like so it's like, well, once you're good, Richie, we'll start taking blood from you. We're working on that. So, then we cut to on the roof with Richie and Neville, which they just have a machine gun set up there that they never use. So
It's called a Browning 50 caliber anti-aircraft gun.
um, and Richie gives them the location of the nest because they worked with them before, so they just saying they're in the old courthouse. So I don't know the new or the old courthouse, so it means nothing to me. So maybe it's an L.A. thing I'm supposed to know. So
Yeah.
and this is where Richie also says like kill him or cure him, and so like Neville has to kind of think about that. He is a doctor, but there's been so much violence in his lately in his life. It's like what's being a doctor anymore. So loneliness and violence. That's all he has. So. I forget Neville has to go out somewhere. Oh, he's like prepping up to go to the nest. And then Neville goes back home to find the note left by Richie where he says like going to find out who is right, you or me, which then like Neville's like, "Oh, he went to the nest." And so we cut to Richie goes to the courthouse where the nest is. He gets cornered by some ghouls. We cut to Neville arms up to come to the nest, which he just has like a like a Woody type Jeep, and he's just throwing ammo in it. And he's got like lights on top of it. Richie tries to reason with Matthias, and it doesn't go well. So, because he's like, he sent you here, he didn't. It's like, no, I came on my own accord. And then we see Lisa comes back with groceries, as the ghouls are like marching in the street with like, what do you call it, torches. And then we see her like reveal her white hair and white eyes. It's like, this is weird. And then we cut to Neville throws a flashbang into the courthouse, and he prepares to like jump in and fire everyone, but they're all gone, and we just see a dead Richie left in the judge's chair, which we only see like his face with blood on it. It's implied they did something horrible to him, but like, um, and then yeah, Neville runs out of there, and he's like races through the streets like looking to kill people, and then the ghouls wreck his car, but they're just like throwing a bunch of stuff in the streets and just pushing cars in the way. He gets out and starts a firefight. He throws like a satchel charge underneath a car and blows up some ghouls, and then he shoots a bunch more and just kind of walks off like nothing happens. Neville gets back to the penthouse. Lisa is revealed to be with like Matthias here. She's in like the robes, and then she's like, even like Neville's like, he killed your brother, and like Matthias said that's what had to happen. It's like, so somehow she's like suddenly like hypnotized by Matthias, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever. So
Yeah.
um the ghouls reveal themselves and they basically surround Neville. They hold him down. They bust up Neville's place and they're like starting to light on fire. Neville gets loose and holds a knife to Matthias, or he like holds his hand to make him hold his own knife to his throat. He grabs the cure and Lisa, and then just heads out of there in the elevator. And then, like, they get downstairs, and there's like a fountain outside with kind of a weird symbol on it. And it seems like Lisa's being hypnotized by Matthias, because now Matthias is like on the balcony of Neville's penthouse. And then she's like, as he's talking, she kind of like is like drawn towards him, and then the spear that Zachary had was like what he dropped was still up there. So Matthias grabs the spear and throws it at Neville and hits him in the chest. And it's like, well, that looks like a fatal wound, and it ends up being that way. So, but then Neville just like bleeds all over the fountain, and then the fountain's recycling the water. So then the fountain figure is like bleeding. It's like, I don't know if this is supposed to be a Christian like thing going on here or what.
I think I think how it turned out is the director and Charlton Heston kind of liked it because his most famous roles were like what they called the sword and sandal movies.
Yeah.
Where he played Moses and he played Ben-Hur, and it's like, so yeah, it kind of worked. By the way, if you've ever seen the TV show Friends, the intro where they're dancing around the fountain and the buildings behind them is this set.
Oh, okay.
Set still stands to this day.
Oh, okay.
It's actually, a lot of people don't know. It's like, yeah, where the friends are at around the fountain, this is the fountain, just slightly restyled. Behind there is Neville's house.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, it's
That's interesting.
Weird. Yeah, because when you hear that and you're like, what? And then you see a picture and you're like, of course it is. But you would never have thought that if someone didn't tell you.
It gets darker and it fades out, and then we cut to it's the next day. It's morning. Dutch shows up with the kids in an SUV. Neville's barely alive, and he hands the cure to Dutch, and then he whispers like the name Lisa to Dutch and like kind of points over at her, and then Dutch just grabs Lisa and puts her in the car. Neville dies. Dutch, Lisa, and the kids leave. One of the kids takes his hat and kind of places it on the fountain. Yeah. I don't. That didn't have any special meaning to me. It's like, oh, she was afraid of him, and now she's like being respectful of his death or something like that. I guess that's what we're supposed to get out of it. And then we just end on an overhead shot of Neville in the pool of blood. And that's the end of Omega Man.
Yeah. Another bleak movie from the 70s.
I'm guessing he dies in every iteration of this, right?
I believe so, yes.
Because he gets blown up in I Am Legend, right? But like there's supposed to be an I Am Legend 2, so there's like maybe the right way around that. I don't know.
Probably not now. I think Will Smith's career has taken a different
turn. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know what happens in the book. I assume he also dies, and then just maybe there's hope for the future, I guess, or whatever. So.
Well, in the book, he dies because he's like, that's where the title of the book comes from.
Oh, okay.
It's like, yeah, they're gonna, because the lady who infiltrated him, which was the human vampire in the novel, gives him cyanide capsules, and she's like, take these before they kill you, because they're gonna kill you horribly. And so he's taking the cyanide capsules, but they don't act like they do in movies. He like slowly dies. And he's in his prison cell, and is like his last things is like, I am the legend of the new vampire people. I will be the vampire in their lore.
Okay.
In the vampire world. So yeah, basically he dies in every iteration of this.
Okay. Oh, so is there even like a cure like in the book?
Oh, in the book there's just like the animalistic like 30 Days of Nights vampires that are just basically bestial, and then there's the more human like, but they are also vampires. And like they're gonna be the new future because they can like reproduce.
But Neville's just surviving that world. He's not like, he doesn't like have a cure in his mind.
Oh no, he's in the book. He's not like a physician or anything.
Okay, all right.
Survive.
Okay.
Like a very clever plumber, I think, or someone. It's good. I think he was in the military. There's something way he can survive,
Yeah.
uh, but he doesn't know about the more human-like vampires because the only ones that attack him are
Right.
the nightmare ones until the more human-like ones infiltrate his world. But in the movie, they're all just animals, and there's actual human survivors. See, in the book, there are no humans.
Yeah. Okay.
He is the last human.
Okay.
The things that he thinks are human, but they're not. They have all the so it's going to be like a world of the night after he's gone because they can't exist in the daylight either.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so yeah, it's always bleak. It's bleak all around, or at least the hero doesn't live.
Yeah.
Because in this movie and the Will Smith movie, there's like they find people. There's people, and there's a serum now, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you reverse this.
There is hope for the future. Just the character you spent the time with doesn't get to see it, so you're bummed out by that. So, well, we're sending a probe into space containing the supercut of scenes from the imperfect collection of the Verhoeven Effect. Nathan, what one scene from this movie are we shoving into
We're
space?
gonna have to send Sunday dinner with Neville because he's just a guy alone in the apartment talking to himself. It's like, oh, it's Sunday. I'm gonna somehow get 4-year-old sausages to still be edible, and then the family's gonna bother me, and I'm gonna shoot my BAR with a infrared scope wearing a flowing, smoking velvet. It's like it describes the movie perfectly.
Something very Gomez Adams about that. So.
Oh yeah, it's wild, but it's also a guy going insane.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the main actor and character in this movie is Charlton Heston.
Yeah.
And I'd say the guy who plays Matthias is probably a good like foil, but his dialogue is always almost so corny and overacted that really like the Charlton Heston guy, you like really identify with.
They let Matthias bury himself with his stupid logic. It's
Yeah,
like, why
yeah.
would anybody believe this? But I guess it's the end of the world, so I guess anybody who's able to gather people around them, it's like, well, they must be right because they're only people surviving. So
Oh, they base it solely on Charles Manson and the Manson family.
yeah.
Because if you listen to Charles Manson speak and you haven't like drank a gallon of LSD, it's like this is gobbledygook. This is nonsense. But supposedly, like we don't know, but we can assume like the Matthias's family in this movie, like, well, their brains are damaged from this slow death they're living through.
Yeah.
So it's this makes sense because why not? I'm out of my mind. But yeah, cults and religious cults, especially, that was huge in California at this time. Because the Mansons are the Manson family is the people we know about because they killed like famous people and rich people, but there was a lot of groups like that around California at this time. It's just
all the weird stuff going on at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna make nuclear bombs and physics and worship Satan, and I'm gonna compete with Aleister Crowley for who's the weirdest. Like, what was the guy's name? I forget, but yeah, like the Satanist rocket scientist that ran JPL. And,
Yeah.
was also a like horrendous sex pervert. Yeah, it was a very weird time in America. Makes you wonder what's going on now because that was like crazy out in the open stuff. Now they know how to kind of keep it secret.
Now it's just YouTube influencers, so it's just sad. So
Well, yeah, I mean, there has to be a dark force behind it. It can't just be YouTube people and TikTok people because that's just like, oh, the death of the world is anti-intellectualism. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, but those like people aren't backed by like corporate interests. It's just millions of people like with eyeballs. Well, I guess the eyeballs is what gets their corporate interest. They make money somehow, so whatever. So
I heard a funny rumor that kind of like, it's like, I don't know if people believe this or not, but they wanted to, about how Mr. Beast offered $10 billion to buy the Upper Peninsula of Michigan so he could reenact the Hunger Games. It was made up, but people were like, yeah, maybe. It's like, oh, that might be interesting. It's like, that would be weird and absurd and sad. It's like,
just take this part of America, secede it from the Union, and let entertainment happen. So.
Yeah, it's just it's like, because isn't he? I don't know. I know he like does like, isn't he the guy that shows up and gives people money and does?
There's
nice
tons of people that do that. He's probably better at it. I don't watch any of his stuff, but like he does. Yeah, like, hey, we're gonna dig 1,000 wells, or like we're gonna give eye surgery to all these people, and then there's always these kind of anti-stories about him where it's like, no, the eye surgery didn't work and stuff like that, and then they're like, what's going on here? And then you just find out like, well, either some of it's shady or some of it's just people like the anti-interest brings also interest. So it's like, well, if I'm going to siphon 10% of this audience saying this guy's a fraud, that's going to be money in my bank. So whatever.
So ostensibly he's a good guy, but we don't know because there's all kinds of internet schizophrenia around him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he's
So,
probably just a normal guy with a lot of attention, and like he's good and bad at the same time. So,
but the idea of a guy like that, like starting a contest where you hunt humans in the Upper Peninsula, would be sad and kind of opposite of his character.
Yeah.
Or it would reveal like the cynics are right. It's like, see, he was evil all along.
Yeah.
So,
I think it fits both identities that are floating about him on the internet. So
that's why it works. That's why it was funny.
That's why it seems true, because it works on both sides of the audience that either likes him or hates him. So,
and it seems like if you show up with enough money now, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
It's like, wasn't hunting humans against our laws? It's like, yes and no. You know, like they can come up with some argument. It's like, if everyone agrees, there's no hard, fast rules about it.
Yeah, only poor people have to live by the rules.
Yeah. Well, no, as long as hey, if you sign a waiver, it's like, yeah, we can hunt you down and kill you. Like, there's some way like this government wouldn't. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. As long as nobody's like involuntarily forced to compete. It's like you chose to eat, so you must compete. It's like that was your choice. You could have starved to death. So it could be the same thing. I don't know.
But yeah, rich people, like, they can just fly to whatever country to the rules they want to live by at that moment in time. So,
yeah. Well, you think they can, and then they get caught, and then it becomes an ongoing scandal for 20 years. It's like, we're going to go to Sex Island, and no one's going to know about it, and then everyone knows about it. Like, oh no.
Yeah, but it is. I don't know. I haven't seen the repercussions yet, so.
Not yet. I mean, it might take like. Yeah, it might not manifest through the courts. It might just go crazy, but the wrong rumor at the wrong time. Like, Ghislaine Maxwell's on work release. She can go back to the UK and work, even though that's fake and not true. It's like, oh, you can send people over the side with that kind of talk. You could start an insurrection accidentally with that kind of talk.
Well, you figured like when billionaires start going to jail that would like change something, but it just seems like, well, then jail changes and then nothing happens, and then because like, you think, as far as we know, being a felon should ruin your life and everything would not be afforded to you, and like people would discredit you and never give you a chance. But we know, as long as you have the money, that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, the money is always that's usually the factor missing from 99% of people's criminal endeavors. Is like, well, you don't have billions of dollars.
You can find us on Letterboxd, username VHE, 1 out of 5 stars. What are we giving The Omega Man?
I'm going to give it 3 stars based on the strength of Charlton Heston's performance and because I feel a certain nostalgia for him.
Okay.
But not 4 or 5 because the character development is so ridiculous. And the story arc here, it seems to have like, it's very jagged.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're going to kill him. No, they're not. It's like, oh, they're going to kill him. Yep, they killed him. Oh, he's still talking hours later. What happened to Matthias? What happened to everyone? We don't know.
Yeah, why is the house not burnt down?
Yeah, why did he go down there and finish the job with the spear? It's like, yeah, but it didn't happen. So yeah, there's all kinds of ridiculousness here, but there's also a cool, like, funky 70s vibe to this movie, which is fun.
Yeah, there is a charm to this movie, which I guess makes the ending kind of brutal.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it is the 70s. It's like, yeah, this is dark sci-fi or dystopian sci-fi.
Well, you can find us at verhoeveneffect.com. There we have listener support. You can support us a monthly site at 99 cents, 49 or 9.99. Cancel any time. You can rate our podcast whatever you want on whatever platform you're listening to. But the only thing the algorithm listens to is the highest rating. So remember, confuse the algorithm, confuse the AI.
Yeah, don't tell us we're good. We already know the answer to that. We're trying to confuse the machine.
Tell the AI we are good.
Yeah. So then when it looks at us to see what good is, it will do the wrong thing.
And then you will keep your job.
Yeah, make hamburgers or whatever.
You can find us at Twitter at Verhoeven Effect. You can find us at Blue Sky Social at Verhoeven Effect. And you can find us at Facebook at Verhoeven Effect. And you can find us on YouTube at American Greed Factory. You can watch both this and that show live and unedited. So for the Verhoeven Effect podcast, I'm Conlon.